We have to recognize the enemy, the voice of the enemy. We have to recognize who is being used by the enemy. You see, the people that are trying to distract you from the promises of God, the people who are trying to discourage you from the very thing that the Lord spoke over your life, they are being used by the enemy. And if you know that people are trying to speak against what the Lord has shown you, they are being used by the enemy. Therefore, you must stay away from those people. If you have someone in your life that is constantly distracting you from focusing on the promises of God, you need to separate yourself from those people. See, they themselves, they don't even know. They don't even know what God spoke over your life. They don't even know how they're being used by the enemy. So maybe this is confirmation. If you know that someone is repeatedly distracting you from praying for the very thing that God has told you to pray for, if you know someone is constantly sowing seeds of doubt, discouragement, saying, don't do that. Say it. No, don't do that. Don't listen. If someone is doing that, they are being used by the enemy, okay? And the reason why the enemy comes is because he literally wants you to be distracted. He doesn't want you focusing. He doesn't want you preparing, okay? He wants to sow seeds of doubt. He wants you weary. He does not want you preparing. He sends people to distract you. And something that I've learned, the spirit of Jezebel. She attacks people in many ways. She causes people to act seductive, to control you, to be manipulative. But there's also a new way that she tries to attack people. Maybe it's not new, it's probably not new, but she literally tries to distract you from the very assignment that God has you on. So whatever assignment that you have upon your life, the very thing that God has told you to do, the spirit of Jezebel will literally distract you from that. So you got to recognize the enemy, okay? Recognize the enemy. Don't listen to the lies of the enemy. Cast down the enemy. Luke 10:19. Because you got authority. Once you're claimed before the Lord, you have authority. So recognize that and use your authority. But I just need to come out here and say, recognize the enemy. And once you know what the enemy is, once you know how the enemy is operating and who is being influenced by the enemy, you literally got to stay away from those people. It's for your protection, and it's so that you can focus on what's true, so that you can focus on what God wants you to do. Because what God has for you is so much better than what anyone else says. His plans for you are so much better than what everyone else says. Because his plans are to prosper you, not to harm you. His plans are to give you a hope and a future. His plans are to plant you into places where you're going to have more support, more love, encouragement. Not the opposite. He's a faithful God. He wants you to be in situations where you're going to have support. I just feel led to say this here. So you guys have a great day. I'll see y'all next time. But recognize the enemy. And once you know that, stay away from it. Stay away from those people. It's for your best interest. See you next time.